What's going on YouTube? So beside me are two of General Motors' most important vehicles. We have the Chevy Tahoe and the Chevy Suburban. I say most important because in the full-size SUV market, these two have absolutely dominated the segment for a very long time. And despite their dominance, Chevy is making some big changes for the 2025 model year. That's why we're here in Detroit, Michigan today to take a first look at all these changes, and let's go ahead and get into it. Now, as I talk about some of these changes, I do want to just go ahead and mention this one here is the Suburban, and over there is the Tahoe. Just like on all the previous model years, they are the same vehicle. The Suburban is going to be, of course, the longer of the two, but otherwise, all these changes are going to apply for both of these models. So starting out over here with our grille, of course, every refresh is going to have a new fascia. Just like previously, we do have updated versions for each of the 6 different trim levels that you can get this in. As you can see with the High Country, you have the nice silver accents through there to add a little bit of bling. But I think more important than the fascia is the updates that they've made to the lighting. So we've gone to a premium LED arrangement. It has a new design for 2025. And one of the things I really like about it is it does have entry and exit animations. So when you lock and unlock the vehicle, you'll see kind of this flow through all this daytime running light and turn signal indicating area. And then you've got the projector LEDs right there in the middle. But you probably won't notice the updates in the front as much as you'll notice this update. We have available 24-inch alloy wheels for the very first time. This is absolutely massive. I have never seen a production model with wheels this large, and this is absolutely going to be something that grabs a lot of attention when you see this rolling down the road. Of course, what makes this possible is the fact that this does have magnetic ride control as well as air suspension to kind of compensate for that, but these are really, really flashy and stand out. Now, just like last year, you do have your High Country branding up there, and your mirrors are, of course, going to be fully loaded with all the features you expect for a very high-end SUV.
Now it's time to talk about the side of both of these. Now they're going to continue to be very large SUVs. Here on the Suburban side, you're going to have a very long length, and on the Tahoe side, you're going to continue to be about 210 inches long. So of course, if you need the most cargo space, go ahead and get the Suburban, but the Tahoe is going to have a lot of cargo space for pretty much any family's needs. Now, I do want to talk about a few different design elements. You have chrome roof rails, we also have chrome window surrounds, but there are some changes in the rear that I want to show you. So coming around here to the rear, the overall shape is going to remain similar to the pre-refresh model, but they've really spiced it up with a lot of different design elements. So let's go ahead and break those down. Of course, we do have a hidden rear wiper, which I really like that it's hidden. And then you're going to notice this right here. This is new for the refresh. Now, it's a little bit harder to see on this gray model, but this is actually going to be black. You can see it a lot better on the Tahoe over there. So that adds an additional visual element with this model. You also have Suburban or Tahoe branding spelled out underneath of that. And then let's talk about our taillights, because these are also updated for the 2025 model. So we now have a clear taillight lens, and these are actually going to be LED taillights. So previously we had the incandescent taillights on all trim levels, which I really didn't like too much, and now we have upgraded those to LEDs. So certainly a big improvement there. Now, as we drop down to the lower area, we're going to be able to continue to tow well over 8,000 pounds, and we do have some updates to the way it looks. Here on the High Country, we have quad exhaust outlets. They're now going to be a square finish, and if you choose this trim level over here, you still do get the circle finish on the exhaust. Now, another area for big improvement for this big refresh is in your safety systems. Chevy is actually including all 4 of your active safety features as standard equipment, and they've really emphasized putting cameras and safety first with this 2025 model, which I'm very happy to see. But without further ado, I know you're waiting to see the updates Chevy has made on the inside, so let's go ahead and check that out. But before...
If you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
Now let's move on to the interior. Before we climb inside, we'll take a quick look at the key fob. Looks like the key fob is going to remain the same for 2025. You do have a standard smart entry system as well as remote start. And to get inside, you'll just grab the door handle there. One of the things I do want to point out, of course, the High Country model does come with the power deploying running boards. They are also illuminated down below, which is a little hard to see in this light, but it looks really nice at night because it's a nice seamless light. Now, head into this interior. I think it's going to be pretty obvious that there's a lot of changes as soon as you look inside this interior. This, of course, is the high-end model, so you're going to have a lot of luxury. We also have updated technology. I'm going to talk about all of that in just a second. First, let's take a look at the seats, though. As you can see, very nice looking seats on board. We do have that special High Country brown finish with the black contrast. You've got the white color contrast stitching, perforations throughout, High Country branding. The seats themselves are going to be, appears to be about 10-way power adjusting with 4-way lumbar support. And of course, you're going to have memory seats and all the expected features. But let's go ahead and get inside. Now, getting inside is nice and easy with those running boards. And we do have an animation that's coming across our large display. Let's look at the rest of the cabin materials before we go any further. Starting out with our door trim, we do have the nice leather covering all through here. It's going to be leather all through the center as well as along the top. As we move to the upper dashboard, again, all nicely finished in this leather material with the stitching detail. We have perforation through here, High Country branding, and this here is a new update. You'll see this both on the dash and the door trim. The High Country is now going to come with a genuine open pore wood trim. It previously had a faux wood, now it has the real deal, and it looks very nice. And then finally wrapping up down here on the lower part, nicely padded as well. Now, of course, we are inside, so we're not going to be able to fire up the engine, but we'll see if we can get some electronics on here. So let's go ahead and start talking about some of this new technology. First up, we have our gauge cluster. We have a full digital 11-inch gauge cluster. It is new to the Tahoe lineup. Of course, just like any other General Motors product, you'll be able to change all types of graphics and things like that. Does also appear we are going to have a head-up display like we previously did as well. Now, as we pull back, you're going to notice a brand new steering wheel to the Tahoe lineup. Kind of a thick rim steering wheel, nice modern look to this. It also does have the light for the available Super Cruise system. I do want to mention that that will remain available, so you can option on, and it's actually now going to be offered on more trim levels for 2024. The wheel itself is power tilt and telescoping, and it is also heated. Now, storage, of course, is a main thing in any Tahoe or Suburban, and we continue to have a massive center console. As you can see, lots of space on board. This does also have the sliding console, so you can push this back. And then we'll also reveal the special hidden compartment for all your secrets. You can stick in there, and no one will know that they're in there. Up in front of that, of course, you do have your two cup holders. You've got a nice little storage area up there and a very large wireless phone charging pad, as well as an assortment of other storage cubbies in the door trim. Now, you're probably noticing no shifter here. Also, no push-button shifter here either. It is now moved up here to the stock, so we now have a column-mounted electronic shifter, kind of like many of the electric General Motors products that have been coming out. Nice, easy place to stick that. We do also, of course, have the availability of a 360 camera, and what's important about the 360 camera now is that you can remotely access it, kind of like your Ring camera. You can use your phone app to see if anything's going on around your vehicle, as well as operate kind of as a dash cam if you're ever in a collision or anything like that. Taking a look at the climate controls, we have physical knobs right here where we can make adjustments to our main things. This is all a new design for 2025. And then up above here, we do have a massive 17.7-inch display. Of course, it does have all the latest and greatest graphics. This will be a Android Automotive based infotainment system. And one of the things I really think is cool is the fact that we have the volume knob and it's built in to the screen itself. And you can see it kind of goes around to tell you the volume as you turn it up and down. Very nice and classy look while still maintaining the physical controls. Finally, of course, auto dimming mirror is going to be retained. You have all your sunroof controls up here. so you can take a look at that large panoramic sunroof, which does open up in the front.
And let's talk about the rear seat area and see what Chevy has updated back here. Now, as far as this area is concerned, we're going to continue to retain the very large amount of space. 42 inches of legroom, 39 inches of headroom, just an absolutely absurd amount of space for you and your family. Of course, we do have the captain's chairs here on this high country model, but let's go ahead and turn our attention towards some of those features that you're going to get. So here in the back, we do have cup holders up top. Dropping below that, we have our own climate controls. We also have heated rear seats for this high country model, but one thing I'm noticing is that Chevy has not added ventilated rear seats. So I assume that will be a feature that may be reserved for the Cadillac Escalade upcoming. Now, dropping below that, we have 2 HDMI ports, 2 USB-C ports, a household style outlet. We also have the optional rear seat entertainment systems, which are actually displaying Android. So I imagine it might have a new software for the rear seat entertainment screens this year. Now, turning to the door trim, we do have a nice door trim, leather on almost all of it. We have not added rear window sunshades, so do keep that in mind for 2025. Chevy has not added that. And then down below in the lower area, you're going to have a ton of storage. Now let's go ahead and check out the third row. So the same folding mechanism applies for this refresh 2025 model. So you just press that once, that's going to fold the seats down and into place, and then press it once more, and that's going to fold it up and out of the way. Now, as far as the space is concerned back here, once again, going to remain unchanged for this 2025 model. Now, do keep in mind what we're sitting in right now is the Suburban. There is an incredible amount of space here in the third row. That applies to both Tahoe and Suburban, so keep that in mind. About 35 inches of leg room, really incredible thigh support. This is pretty much hands down the best third row that money can buy one way or the other, because it is just so spacious. On our Car Confections third row scale, this is certainly fit for a king. And as far as features, we do have rear air vents, cup holders on the side, as well as USB ports. Now I'm going to go ahead and walk up to the tailgate to highlight a really cool feature. So for this new 2025 model, they're now adding the functionality, instead of the kick tailgate, it's actually a walk and approach tailgate. So you can just walk up to the vehicle, it senses your presence, and goes ahead and opens. It's pretty similar to what we've seen on like some Hyundai and Kia products. And I do want to mention that a power tailgate is standard equipment on every single Tahoe for the 2025 model year. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the space figures back here. Of course, that's not going to change for the refresh model. You're going to have an absurd amount of space. If we power fold the third row down, as you can see, we do still have the power functionality for the third row, as well as the electric folding for the second row. In the Tahoe, you're going to have about a maximum of 123 cubic feet. Additionally, you're going to have additional underfloor storage underneath. But guys, there are some updates to the powertrain department, so let's go ahead and talk about that.
Let's go ahead and talk about what is under the hood. Now, the V8 purist in you guys will be happy to know that you do still have the V8 options on board. The standard 5.3 liter V8 engine, and you also have the available 6.2 liter V8 engine that General Motors has long been offering. However, there is an update, and that's going to be with your 3-liter Duramax diesel engine. This is moved into the second generation. And with this model, it is going to be making more power, 305 horsepower and 495 pound-feet of torque. This is the same motor that you first saw in the updated form in the Silverado. Now it is here in the Tahoe and the Suburban. As far as your transmission is concerned, you are going to have a 10-speed automatic transmission that's now been expanded across every single version in the entire lineup, with some updates to the software. Overall, you'll continue to have rear-wheel drive and available 4x4. And as far as fuel economy, of course, we don't have anything official at this current time, but you can expect that fuel economy will remain roughly the same, considering that it is the same powertrain for the gas options, and the diesel is said to have improved efficiency.
Now, of course, for pricing, we have no official pricing just yet on the Tahoe or Suburban. We do expect a price increase. Of course, pretty much everything increases in price year over year, and they are giving you quite a bit more technology for this model, but not drastically more expensive than any Tahoe that you've had in the past. Now, as far as availability, GM is expected to make this vehicle at their plant in Arlington, Texas in late 2024. So we expect availability in late 2024 or early 2025. But guys, that's going to wrap up this in-depth first look review of the refreshed 2025 Chevy Tahoe and Suburban. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, we would really appreciate a subscribe down below. By subscribing, you help give us invites like this so we can sample out some of the latest cars on the market. If you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support. We really appreciate it. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.